Takeoff. The rising or ascent of an aircraft or rocket into flight.
Rocket takes off.
Will power the payload to its final targeted orbit. Altogether, the Merlin 1D engines at the base of Falcon Heavy produce 5 million pounds of thrust, equal to 18 747s at takeoff. Equal to 18 747s at takeoff.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Korea fired 3 air-to-surface missiles and sent up fighter jets, saying it's been a record year for North Korea weapons testing. 28 so far. Kim Jong-un adamant to prove his program is thriving. The U.S. and South Korea holding annual military drills.
Takeoff.
Lift me up, hold me down. Keep lift me lift me up.
Rihanna makes her long-awaited return to music with Lift Me Up, the lead single from the upcoming Black Panther Wakanda Forever original soundtrack. Lift Me Up, written as a tribute to the life and legacy of the late Chadwick Boseman, marks the 9-time Grammy winner's first new solo music since her 2016 album, Auntie. Lift Me Up, written as a tribute to the life and legacy of the late Chadwick Boseman, marks the
Lift me up, hold
Panther back. I must right these wrongs. You have a blanket.
Keep me close. Hold me down. Keep me close.
It's Friday, October 28th, and Billboard presents First Stream with the hottest drops of the week. Wakanda Forever and the music from Rihanna. This is so exciting. Our Barbadian queen just released Lift Me Up from the Black Panther soundtrack. We're all gonna miss who Army calls Mr. Worldwide Handsome. But Jin of BTS has to enlist in South Korea's military. But before he does, he's giving a solo song, The Astronaut, with an epic video.
Welcome to our mashup of Lift Me Up by Rihanna, Mega Beauty Tycoon, CEO, Boss, and Jin from BTS was on his way to the military. And here we have, so excited to bring these two things together because they go together. They're like twins, brother and sister, because right after their songs dropped, the world changed. Within one day, Halloween parties brought disaster. World leaders brought missiles down on countries, as we talked about in our last video. And today I said I would go in more to how these people's careers are really joined together. Now, where to begin? We said it would be a countdown, but it's more like a map. Let's see where to start. We could start with the thing that shocked me so much. And that was how Rihanna in the movie Home, which you see here, it's about a little girl who lost her mom, or her mom was abducted by an alien invasion, and she and her cat are all alone trying to find her mom. And here comes O, who is like a strange, solo guy in his race, and nobody likes him much because he's so different. And they band together to help her find her mom and end up saving the world. And it's very interesting how these all come together. So let's show how in this movie in 2014-15, this very song we're listening to now, listen, is in the movie Home. Let me show ya. But before I do that, let's show you the importance of knowing that in the Wakanda movie, where Rihanna just is singing one of the title songs for the new movie, in the first movie, there is a scene in South Korea where Jin from BTS is from. It's a big pivotal scene in the movie where, they go to pick up their vibranium that was stolen from their lands, and many people died. So they went to go get it at a casino, which is also important.
Runs around in a bulletproof catsuit. I run around in a bulletproof catsuit.
Talk about bulletproof. Now don't forget, BTS means bulletproof boy band.
You're doing great.
Now, they're in a city called Busan that's got New York base there. I mean, not New York, American Army base there, and it's been there since the Korean War. And so you'll see that most of these things that tie these people's music videos together is military. And so Busan is not far from where the stampede happened for Halloween party on Saturday, last Saturday, which was also next to an American military base.
At least 149 people were killed and another 150 injured in a stampede when a huge crowd celebrating Halloween crammed into an alley in the Itaewon area of Seoul, South. The incident took place at about 10:20 p.m. local time. Witnesses described chaotic scenes moments before the stampede. Media footage captured the chaos, with hundreds of people packed in the narrow sloped alley crushed and immobile, held them free. Many of the partygoers were wearing masks and Halloween costumes.
Notice he said that they were crammed in an alley. The word alley is very important because something else happened in that alley, a bowling alley, only a couple of days later on November 1st.
We got one male that's deceased. He's right in front of the 810 bowling alley. Looks like he's been shot in the head or neck, possibly. Right now, we don't have a whole lot of information. We know it happened somewhere around 2:35. There were some security.
Now to breaking news, a deadly shooting in the heart of downtown Houston overnight, and there are reports several high-profile were there when that gunfire rang out.
Yeah, this happened near the corner of Polk and San Jacinto. Ugochi Iloka was the first reporter live at the scene.
Houston police still out here investigating this deadly shooting that happened outside of Billers and Bowling Alley. So about Quavo and Takeoff being here at the time of the shooting.
Let's take a quick look at the bowling alley is 810. And you see the symbols here. 8-1 is actually, if you flip the 1 and the 8 the way they do in other parts of the country for the date, January 8th, which is Kim Jong-un's birthday, the North Korean leader, dictator who just shot the missiles off right after this happened. And it's so weird because that's actually also Elvis's birthday, the 1st of January. So what does that mean? There's some people who have some videos about that. You can take out Jurassic Liars. But again, this is a pool, billiards. So you have pool going on, which is the loops. And you have the bowling. And this is an alley. And what does all that mean? We'll find out more about that later. But let's continue on. And so now we can see why in Korea, who would have known that right after these songs were released that all this would happen? And all these deaths. Even in India, a bridge collapsed. And it's weird too because some other Korean music that was just released kept showing for Halloween specifically, like people running in the streets and being of Korea. And let me just show you that. It's a group called Seraphim, I think. And you'll see this music is new music as well. And they talk about being anti-fragile. And look, the meteor hitting Earth. Yes, our theme is being confirmed. So this is like the stampede. People running in the street, in the alleyways. The X chromosome being hit. XX, the girls. And can they get through it? Can we pull through it? Looks like they can. Babylon.
People, and we can't have madmen out there shooting rockets all over the place. And by the way, Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago. By the way, Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago.
That's Kim Jong-un he's talking about.
Little
This is from
Rocket
2017.
We're going to do it for its allies. We will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself. The United States is ready, willing, and able. But hopefully, that's what the United Nations is for.
Before I begin, I'd like to express my deepest condolences for the terrible tragedy that occurred in Seoul this past weekend. Our hearts go out to the families of all the victims from across South Korea and around the world, including 2 young Americans. And we stand together with the people of South Korea during this time of national mourning. Now, the DPRK has chosen to interrupt this solemn period with the illegal and destabilizing launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile last night, as well as additional missile launches today. I've consulted with Minister Lee, and we've decided to extend Vigilant Storm, which is our long-scheduled combined training exercise to further bolster our readiness and interoperability, to develop options to protect the United States and our allies in the region.
Are you starting to see why this military motif between these two songs and people and groups have their fan base being called Navy and Army? And even in his video, Jin from BTS, he has tattooed on his neck in Braille the word Army. And this movie his video is called The Astronaut. But when you break down the meaning of the word astro, which means stars, but not has to do with being a sailor or a Navy person, dealing with the water. And we know Rihanna was once a cadet, an Army cadet. And here she's kind of like an alien or a space cadet. But just be that as it may, you see her video for Wakanda, which the movie has to do with the water. And I haven't seen it yet, so... but we know it has to do with people who live beneath the surface in the waters. So, between the water and space, heaven and earth, what can also show you more about him being a seaman, or dealing with the word C-E-M-E-N, which is the seed of man. And what's the seed of man? They're the asteroids, or even the being hit by darts, and the genetic mutations that would create the O, unisex gender. And we can see even in the football it looking like the seed, and we know it has to do with the seed. Even in the NFL Lombardi Trophy looks the same way, because the so-called bad guy of the home movie holds the similar stick with a rock on it, full of genetic material, and he calls it the shusher. But this unisex genetics, which is like we have the X and X, X and Y for male and female, but O is when you don't have any Y chromosomes that are the male chromosomes, and they call that O, intersex. Unisex was what they used to talk to us about, being unisex, and we just went along with it, not knowing the real deal of what all these space programs, all these, what they really mean. And you can see the space programs have to do with genetics, because and even the drugs, the fentanyl, and you never believe it's also in the coffee, something to do with the coffee, the donuts. But if you look at the asteroids, when you see shooting stars, they look a lot like shooting semen. So what's being taken off? Takeoff. You have the X and the Y, and this is just the logo for SpaceX that has launched the Falcon Heavy the same day that Takeoff was taken out. And notice that SpaceX has a hidden Y and X in the logo. Even in the astronaut, it has a hidden X in the letter A. And these programs from Aaliyah's Anastasia, the logo for the song, and the A for Aaliyah, and the Artemis program, which is another NASA program where they say women will go to the moon. We see similarities, and there's a Cancer moonshot, money shots, which we know Takeoff and his Migos, they always showing all this money, which stands for the moon as well. So there's like so much to unpack here, but we're going to do the best we can here, okay? So let's show you in Jin's video. And this is all right before this eclipse in the election that's going to be the same day. There's going to be a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse, which will not occur again for a couple of years. And it's going to be taking place on election day. So let's look at his army video, his video that he encodes his love for the army, his army of fans, but also him going to the army, maybe to the Space Force. I think he's going to be working with America in the Space Force because he's an astronaut, but we'll have yet to see. And he went to college, you guys. He's an educated man. He actually went to graduate school. So you think he's just some cute singer. In some people's eyes, he's cute. He also has a song called Moon. And we'll see some of the gender bending with that too. But let's see how far we can go here before my tape runs out. Yeah, look at that with his beautiful pink shirt. He's standing on the moon. Have to slow it down. Copyright. Look at that. Wow. There's a rose coming out of the moon, which we know is the epididymis, moonlit, because we have dimorphos and epididymis. And he's got this beautiful pink chiffon type shirt on, looking so pretty. There's actually another singer named Jin from Asia. He's Chinese, and his song is called Shoot for the Moon. Wow, it's an obsession with the moon, which we know it really means some other things. Who are you? Your identification. dissociative identification disorder. They're showing us this is about DNA. This is a DNA molecule. Who you are, your heredity, your genetics. It used to be our heredity, but now who are we if they change our genetics? And we have to learn about the sciences, everybody. Don't be afraid of it. But if you have an mRNA molecule that goes into your cell and changes your DNA, who are you then? Who are you after that? Just think about that. They're going to know who you are because they marking you. I've been doing so much research for y'all and for us. And there's actually a song called Shoot for the Moon from 1994. A lady named Linda Davis, country music singer. But it's not very clear, but you can look it up. She has on African-like attire at a country music festival, looks like. Yeah, you see the symbolism, looks very tribal. She's in the jungle type place, a beautiful place. Could be Hawaii even, but definitely a place where people of color are. But listen to what she says. Pull back your arrow. That's what Artemis. She uses bows and arrows. And this set looks a lot like the set Aaliyah was at the Academy Awards.
Thank you for making the future generations be able to shoot for the moon. Hold back your arrow. Push you to try again. You are. Stand with your chin.
Okay, here we have Jin or Jean, and look at that. You see that crossword puzzle? It looks so benign, but do you know that it's coded and it says for Army in Braille? Look at this. I'm gonna go back a little bit to the page, okay? See the planets in his room, the telescope. And right here, I don't know, it's kind of blurry, but here it says the planet is coming back soon, once more to the moon. Even over here it says something. But actually these letters here are Braille. Not the letters he's writing, but these black squares are actually written in code, and it says for Army. What is this saying about humanity on the top with a question mark? Oh, he's looking at the news. What's that on the news? What does it say? Mystery beam of light spotted. Okay, we have the guy from Coldplay who helped write the song. There's a beacon. He suits up because he's a sleeper agent, I think, or something. He's getting ready for active duty. He's got his helmet and his Braille. So many codes. If we just open our eyes. So you see, Army in Braille. It's written right here, and that's what he had on his crossword for Army. Even Rihanna's video is written in code with the Wakanda language. I guess we all have to learn these codes, or at least pay attention that there are codes out here. And if subconsciously it goes in our minds, we know something's just not right. But we just have to do a little bit more digging. Here's his crossword puzzle. Try to decode that part. For Army. See if I'm right. There's a point in the video he holds up this picture that says home, and that relates to Rihanna's movie Home. Home. Now this movie actually, to me, see if you think it's the same thing, but it's just to me, predicts her beauty line and her making these lingerie for Savage. The lingerie with the lace and, you know, everybody being included in her beauty line and her lingerie, which sounds great. You know, I'm not going to say it doesn't. But if we look at in the home movie, his race of Boov actually have 7 genders, and himself has no gender. He's genderless. So just keep that in mind, and just to even bring home the fact of the gender issue, her cat is a calico cat, and genetically speaking, can only be female. This is something you can look it up. Calico cats, and see what their sex is. So to have a male is very rare for calico cats. And even in the movie Soul, they have a calico cat. Start thinking back at the movies that have the calico cat. And also, this cat is called Pig and has a pig's tail. So we know that there's some genetic modifications going on. GMO, probably with the darts. And there's even a dart reference because her name is Tip in the movie. Let me show you some of these still pictures. Her name is Tip in the movie, and there's the tip of the Eiffel Tower right at her eye and at her temple. It's pointing to her temple. And if you look closely at this needle that almost hits her, it is definitely a dart, because look, you see this hole here on the right before the tip, the way a needle, a dart injects its drug into the animal, which is usually fentanyl, and her name is Fenty. Even Jay brings it up in the song God Did. And the fentanyl or whatever other drug comes out of this needle and it's injected into the beast. It's done through this little hole. She even has a dartboard in her room because she hates the Boov because they took over the planet, which I can understand, and took her mom from her on Christmas Day, and she's got darts hitting all the Boov. We saw that she also has darts in her video. Yellow diamonds in the light. Here's Tip with her makeup palette, and she does some makeup on the Boov. She gives him a female characteristic mole for his disguise. Again, this movie came out in 2015 before she had her Fenty beauty line. And look at how cute with her pink lipstick. It's so pretty. Here's the hollow tip here. You can see the hole right there next to O's hand. And they kind of look kind of drugged up as well, which makes me think about the fentanyl that's in it. They're getting high. Even his lips are white like a crackhead. And here's something really shocking, that it shows basically the day her son was born this year. If you read it backwards, it says 135, which is May 13th. And her son, whose name I believe is Noah, which also has a water reference because Noah survives the flood, the water flood. And that brings us back to the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the military. And here we have the United States Space Force, which is what just launched the day that Takeoff was killed. The same time in the same place. Houston, Texas, which is where he got shot. only hours between the launch of the Falcon Heavy and the Space Force had a payload that was secret, top secret payload. And these are the different branches. And this is BTS actually showing their love for Army, which is their, fan base. And here Rihanna is in a Navy in the movie Battleship, and she's wearing Army fatigues, and here's his coded Army tattoo on his neck in the new music video Astronaut. And this is her in So Hard in the military uniform. Here's the coded crossword puzzle in Braille. So this is your cheat sheet to try to figure it out on your own. And here's a part of the movie that Tip dresses up the boob as a booby trap. The booby trap actually has like lingerie, a bra and glitter and all that. And he seems like a male dressing as a female, a drag queen. Well, if it's genderless and she gave it some, a hint, a little dash of glitter. Oh, he doesn't know what's happening to his body. He says, "What is happening to my body?" And it's during this part that you'll hear the song. And even look at the planets hanging down in her room, like the different balls and discs and stuff. So you got the flat earth and the different understandings there. I mean, everything is in it. When you have a movie, you have a blank slate. You can put anything you want in it. And so you have to wonder why they put things in movies, especially animated movies. Here we have one of the BTS members dressed so beautifully, looking like T-Boz. Rock Nation was credited in the movie soundtrack. See if you can decode this. Let
All-purpose noodle is just like sugar, but better. Just like how unicorns and rainbows prepare for your dance attack. Prepare for your dance attack.